The Indiana Fever have been on a roller coaster journey this season, rising from the depths of a disappointing start to becoming one of the most intriguing teams in the WNBA. For the first time in nearly a decade, though perhaps closer to 8 years, the Fever have managed to achieve a .500 record. While this might seem modest to some, for a franchise that has struggled for years, it represents a monumental achievement. Let's explore how this remarkable turnaround happened and what it means for the Fever moving forward. The Indiana Fever started their 2024 campaign in a rough spot, going 1-8 in their first 9 games. At that point, it looked like another lost season, and fans were understandably frustrated. The team was plagued by inconsistency, and even with standout performances from rising star Caitlin Clark, victories were hard to come by. The Fever were often on the receiving end of blowout losses, and many of their early games weren't even close. This was a team that seemed destined to finish near the bottom of the standings once again. For a franchise with a storied history that includes legends like Tamika Catchings, the thought of another year of mediocrity was hard to swallow. Yet, even in those dark days, there were signs that this team had potential. Caitlin Clark, despite her impressive individual performances, was still adjusting to the pace and physicality of the WNBA. Kelsey Mitchell was doing her best to shoulder the scoring load, but it was clear that the team needed time to gel. Then something clicked. Perhaps it was the culmination of weeks of practice and finding the right rotations, or maybe it was simply the players' refusal to accept another year of failure. Whatever the case, the Fever turned things around in a big way. Since their dismal 1-8 start, the team has gone 14-7, a record that not only has them at .500, but also firmly in the playoff hunt. This kind of mid-season transformation is rare in professional sports, and it speaks volumes about the resilience and talent on this roster. The Fever have gone from being a team that was routinely getting blown out to one that is now playing better basketball than even some of the league's top contenders. Over this stretch, they've outpaced teams like the Las Vegas Aces and Seattle Storm, both of whom were expected to be title contenders this season. The Fever are playing with a level of confidence and cohesion that we haven't seen from this franchise in years. Caitlin Clark has been at the center of the Fever's resurgence. The rookie guard has quickly established herself as one of the most electrifying players in the league, routinely putting up big numbers and making plays that leave fans in awe. However, as much as Clark's impact has been undeniable, there's a heated debate about whether she should be the Rookie of the Year. Statistically, Clark falls short in some advanced metrics like Raptor and win shares, which has led some analysts to question her candidacy for the award. Despite this, her influence on the court is impossible to ignore. She is the engine that drives this Fever team, and without her, it's hard to imagine they would have made this dramatic turnaround. Clark may not have the statistical backing to claim the Rookie of the Year title outright, but her leadership and clutch performances have been invaluable to Indiana's success. It's also important to recognize the contributions of other players on the roster. Kelsey Mitchell has been a steadying force for the Fever, bringing veteran leadership and consistent scoring. Her experience has been crucial in helping the younger players, like Clark and Aaliyah Boston, navigate the ups and downs of a grueling WNBA season. As of now, the Fever sit in the 6th seed, a position that few would have predicted at the start of the season. They were projected to be a mid-tier team at best, with many expecting them to finish closer to the bottom of the standings. But here they are, not just in the playoff race, but in a position where they could potentially climb even higher. The Chicago Sky, a team that was neck and neck with the Fever before the Olympic break, have since fallen off a cliff, going on a 5-game losing streak and dropping to 11-20. The Indiana Fever have been on a roller coaster journey this season, rising from the 5-1 disappointing start to becoming one of the most intriguing teams in the WNBA for the first time in a real shot at making some noise in the playoffs. What makes this even more impressive is that the Fever wants to record. While this might seem modest to some, since for a franchise that has struggled for years, it represents a monumental achievement. Let's explore how this remarkable turnaround happened and what it means for the stretch. This level of performance is unprecedented for a team that looked all but dead in the water earlier in the season. But the road ahead won't be easy. The Fever have some tough matchups coming up, including games against the Las Vegas Aces, who currently hold the best record in the league. These next few games will be crucial in determining whether the Fever can secure a top playoff spot or if they'll be fighting just to stay in the picture. One of the biggest questions surrounding the Fever as they head into the final stretch of the season is the future of Kelsey Mitchell. There's been a lot of speculation about her free agency status, but all signs point to the Fever keeping her in Indiana. Mitchell has been a cornerstone for this team, and her loyalty and commitment have been evident throughout her career. With her continued presence, along with the development of younger stars like Clark and Boston, the Fever could be setting themselves up for sustained success in the coming years. Mitchell's impact on the team can't be overstated. Before this season, she had endured years of losing seasons, with a career record of 59-148. This year, however, she has already helped the team to a 16-16 record, a huge improvement over past seasons. The last time the Fever won 14 games in a season, Tamika Catchings was still on the roster. Mitchell's leadership has been instrumental in changing the culture of the team and helping to guide the younger players through the growing pains of the season. With the Fever's recent surge, there's a growing belief that they could be dark horse contenders in the playoffs. While it's still a long shot to say they'll win the championship, it's not out of the question. The Fever are playing with a level of confidence and cohesion that makes them a dangerous team for anyone to face in the postseason. However, the road to a championship is fraught with challenges. The Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty are the clear favorites, and both teams have the depth and star power to go all the way. But if the Fever can continue their current form and get some favorable matchups, they could make a deep run. Much will depend on how they handle the pressure of the playoffs and whether they can maintain their high level of play against tougher competition. There's been some buzz around Caitlin Clark possibly being the best player in Fever history, but it's important to put that into context. While Clark is undeniably talented and has a bright future ahead of her, it's too early to place her above Tamika Catchings, who is not only the greatest player in Fever history, but one of the best to ever play in the WNBA. Catchings led the Fever to a championship in 2012 and was a 10-time All-Star. Her legacy is untouchable, at least for now. That said, Clark has the potential to carve out her own legacy in Indiana. If she continues to develop and lead the team as she has this season, she could very well become the face of the franchise for years to come. The idea of Clark and Mitchell leading this team into a new era of success is exciting for Fever fans, especially considering how long it's been since the team was a legitimate contender. As we look ahead to the final stretch of the season and into the playoffs, one thing is clear: the Indiana Fever are no longer a team to be taken lightly. They've gone from being a bottom dweller to a team that could potentially make some serious noise in the postseason. Their turnaround has been one of the best stories of the WNBA season, and it's a testament to the hard work and determination of the players and coaching staff. The Fever's journey is far from over, and the next few weeks will be critical in determining their fate. Will they secure a top playoff spot and make a deep run, or will they fall short and have to settle for just making the postseason? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure: this team has captured the imagination of WNBA fans everywhere. If you've enjoyed following the Fever's incredible season so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth analysis, game breakdowns, and updates on all things WNBA. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. What do you think about the Fever's chances in the playoffs? Can Caitlin Clark lead this team to a championship? Drop your thoughts below, and let's talk Fever basketball.